A heaven in the heart of the state of Tamilnadu is a paradise on earth. A beautiful hill for the people of Tamilnadu and tourists alike. The Nilgiri district forms an integral part of the Western Ghats in South India, where it has a distinct ecological realm of its own. The district has a very unique flora and fauna not found anywhere else in the country. About 56% of the district is covered by forests. Beauty and serenity of mountains have always been a source of happiness. Hills, nature and man, they have an age-old association. One loves to visit the hills. Full environment generates good vibes, resulting in good health. Nilgiri hills of Tamil Nadu are amazing and always the first choice of many of us and the foreign tourists alike. Every year, lakhs of tourists visit the Nilgiris. People and government of Tamil Nadu are proud of Nilgiri wildlife and its rich environment. But in recent years, people of Tamil Nadu have little to rejoice about. Reason? The plastic invasion. The mountains of garbage tourists leave behind are mind-boggling. Use of plastic in various forms like plastic carry bags, disposable cups, foil plates, water bottles has become a habit of one and all.
In Ooty they had the deer park. There was a deer park where in an enclosure, in a big place near the Ooty lake, there were some deers kept there for the tourists to come and see. And one day a deer died. And the post-mortem showed up that it was full of plastics. So from that time I realized that these plastics are really bad. How bad they are for nature, for us, and for the world as such.
There were numerous macro-ecological problems concerned. The Kodapamund channels, which drained into the Ooty lake, brought with them the garbage and plastics, and the heavy rains of Ooty often choked its stormwater drains. It was at this point that the district administration geared up to fight the menace. They had a Herculean task to perform, lots to clean and even more to be mended. Hills were filled with plastic bags, disposable plastic cups, plates, mineral water bottles, throwaway foil plates. One could see every inch of the beautiful grasslands and forests littered with plastic junk. This destroyed the peaceful and serene sight of the heavenly hills.
As a first step in that direction, I thought that we must call every person of this beautiful place to get involved in the project. So whether it is the common citizen, whether they are the shopkeepers, they are the NGOs, non-governmental organizations, they are the tribal people, or the tourists who keep coming here very often, we thought that everybody must be involved in an effort like that. And a committee was formed by at that time we constituted a committee. That committee had all these representatives, as I just mentioned, and we met and decided our strategy. The strategy was that the first and the most important step would be, why don't we ban the use of plastics in the Nilgiris district? So we took a decision that in local bodies there is a provision where local bodies can take a decision that if they think that something is not in the public good, they can bring a ban on that. So we requested two municipalities in Nilgiris, 13 town panchayats and 35 village panchayats. We called the local body leaders, we spoke to them, made the presentation how the animals were dying, how the drainages were getting choked, and we requested them, we convinced them that they must bring a ban on the use of plastics in Nilgiris district. And in fact, we were so surprised and we were so happy by the cooperation we got that immediately after the sensitization program, all of them, all the elected local body leaders, they went back and they brought in a kind of a local resolution saying that we ban all kinds of disposable plastic plates, disposable plastic cups and all kinds of polythene bags, irrespective of the thickness of these plastic items. And they brought this resolution. And that was like a shot in the arm of the district collector. They gave those resolutions to me and we published it in the district gazette of Nilgiris. So once we publish in the district gazette, then it becomes mandatory for everybody to follow. So the first resolution was that we ban. We brought in a ban, but we had to face a number of difficulties, a number of problems in the beginning. So the first and the most important thing and the most difficult thing for us was to convince people why and how the plastics are destroying our environment. And the second difficulty which we faced was when we notified this in the district gazette, the merchant community was up in arms against the district administration.
The traders were hesitant to change over from the plastic to any other material of packing because plastic was easy to stock, it gave a very good look and it was cheaper also.
We are not able to accept the plastic free Nilgiris because this is easy to carry, easy to maintain and cheap to expenditure for giving to the customers, because very easily we will pack and keep our material to supply the tourist people and local public.
They also raised a kind of question saying that you will be depriving many people, many merchants of their livelihood, because many people are selling the plastic cups, plastic bags and the plastic bags, the plastic polythene disposable items. So how can you deprive people of their livelihoods? How can you do something like that? So everybody, in fact, people were questioning us, the merchant community was up in arms, and then there was a kind of many people were saying, oh, these kind of initiatives, they will be there for a few days. And after that, nothing will be there. It will just go back to those old days. But then when we faced these difficulties, our resolve started becoming stronger and stronger. And I must say that we had the support of very good non-governmental organizations. We had the support of some of the citizens of Nilgiris, some organizations which were working for environment. They really supported us in very difficult times.
The Todas, they herd buffaloes. They have their own buffaloes which are very sacred to them. And their whole life revolves around these buffaloes. And one day I found that a Toda sacred buffalo was gasping for breath. And so I went running and I found that this Toda man was trying to resuscitate the buffalo, but he failed. And after that, when they did the post-mortem, they found that there was plastic inside. The buffalo didn't know what it was. The buffaloes grazing in these remote areas didn't know what it was. The buffalo had swallowed some plastic, and that had sort of blocked its esophagus and caused it to choke. And the Toda man was in tears. He said, had I known it was just this reason, I would have put my hand into its mouth and pulled it out, and my sacred buffalo is gone. He was weeping. And that's when I realized, and that's certainly when he realized also, because people living in remote areas have no inkling that plastic can be so bad, and they might just throw it all over the place. And then I realized that how serious this problem is.
And therefore the strategy which we revised was that let us do a mix of awareness generation, convincing the people, and also very good enforcement. Because we realized that in India we have best of legislations, we have best of rules, but most of the time we are not able to get desired results. Why? because we don't enforce them properly. And we said, having come to the step when all the local bodies have passed a resolution, let us do it with determination. Let us enforce. And that was I think that was the turning point in the entire campaign, when we requested the local bodies to bring in an element of fine in the entire campaign, because there was no fine initially. We had only banned the plastic. But suppose if somebody is not, if somebody is not falling in line, how do you enforce? How do you ensure that that person listens to you, and how do you ensure that that person is not using the plastic? So we brought in an element of fine.
But the opposition persisted. Everyone treated the mission as a joke. Business community and politicians were not ready to cooperate, since their business suffered on account of abstaining from plastic bags. Stern action had to be taken. Law was enforced. Government was serious. Anti-plastic inspectors were conducting spot checks. Shops were raided. Biggest business houses were raided. Customers who violated were not spared. In no time, the piles of plastic diminished. But tourists still violated the laws. They too were fined. Now the awareness campaign was launched. During the tourist season, the emphasis was that on every entry point of the Nilgiris, Eco-Warden will man the checkpost to weed out banned plastic carry bags, plates, cups and disposable mineral water bottles. Some of the banks came forward with an offer to eco-friendly khadi cloth bags, with a request to tell the tourist to say no to plastic bags. Plastic did not spare the animal life either. Many animals died. Recurrence of such incidents was an eye-opener for many locals. But how to do it? The administration then took the initiative. School children, teachers, college students, the home guards, eco clubs, Rotary, Lions, NSS, NCC and social service organizations were convinced of the dangers of plastic after a great persuasion. Work had to be done on war footing.
Afterwards, several call from the collector and seminars they conducted, and they explained this, please you accept. Then we are hesitant to accept. Then finally we call all the traders and shop owners and we requested them and we also explained them. Then slowly they are accepting this concept. Even after accepting their concept also, they were feeling that that is wrong, we have to spend more money, and where we will go and get bags, where paper bags also manufacturing costly. They were all thinking. After several complaints, several problems, several times we had rallies, we are against, we doesn't want to accept the plastic things. We have gone and met the collector, even government level also we moved. Then finally we thought, and finally we agreed to accept the plastic free Nilgiris.
Alternatives were suggested, like the beautiful handmade recycled paper bags made by the unemployed and widows. Remarkable employment was generated. Tribal youth and people from all walks of life joined hands. The logic and the solutions were unbeatable. Lifestyle had changed. There was no more use of plastic bags. Instead, the place has been taken by paper, khadi and haldi colored bag or manja pai. School children frequently went out for plastic picking treks, cleaning up their beloved Nilgiri hills and Ooty Lake. These children have now taken upon the responsibility to carry forward the onward march of the conservation of environment.
We could see the results of this initiative. The results were really dramatic. The impact was amazing. And I think that was the driving force behind the success of the program, because people, they themselves could see the impact of such an initiative. If you take everyday garbage in Ooty market, you'll find about 60 to 70% of the garbage is this plastic waste. Rest of it is biodegradable waste, which is not much of a problem. So we immediately, the impact was that 60% of the garbage was already gone. I would also like to mention that one of the most important contributions were made by school children and students who were there in the colleges, because we personally, the team which was doing the entire thing, personally felt that if a child, decides to take up this kind of a campaign, this will be there with the child throughout his or her life. And therefore, if you make an impact on a child, the entire family can be influenced. And that is why we went to all the schools in the city. We opened eco clubs in all the schools, sensitized the school children, school teachers, and told them the harmful impacts, harmful effects of using plastic. And I think that was the impact was tremendous.
From there on, there was never turning back. We got together. We got many other NGOs who were interested together, like the Wildlife Association, the Farmers, the Merchants Associations, and all interested citizens of this district, including the service organizations like the Rotary, Lion, and other clubs. We got down to a strategy and to make this place a beautiful place.
After my joining, I also followed the footsteps of my predecessors and intensified further the campaign against the plastics. So we have appointed zonal officers to make inspections in many places, both rural and urban areas, and seize the plastics, if anything, found in the premises of the traders and the users. And not only seizing the plastic items, but also imposing fine up to 1,000 rupees on anybody who is using the waste plastics. Moreover, this entire district of 2/3 of the area covered by the forest. So the forest ecosphere is to be maintained with utmost care and caution, that the ecosphere should not be spoiled by the throwaway plastic. During the period of Mrs. Supriya Sahu, when she was the collector here, she has arranged for planting 42,182 tree saplings in the place called Kurutukuli on a single day, that is on 24th June 2002. For that, she has received Guinness Book of Records. That is the greatest achievement done during the period of my predecessor. And that Guinness Park is still maintained well, and we are planning to make it as an important tourist spot during the next tourist festival.
I'm going with my other classmates for plastic picking treks for cleaning up our beloved Nilgiri Hills. And this is for you, Auntie.
Their sincere attempts and innocent ways entreat us thus. Enjoy your stay in the Nilgiri, but do not use plastic.